Hi, everybody, and welcome back. It's Miss B with Story Time. We've been listening to chapters in Captain Awesome to the Rescue. We learned that Eugene McGillicuddy has a secret identity. He is Captain Awesome, and he just met a friend who loves Super Dude, who is his favorite superhero. So now we're on to chapter 6. It is called The Lost Hamster Weekend. Ms. Beasley had given Eugene a job, and he was going to do it right. That weekend, he took Turbo home and introduced him to Mom, Dad, and Molly. Eugene kept the cage in his bedroom, and whenever he left, he loaded Turbo into his round plastic hamster ball, the Turbo-mobile, so that Turbo could follow him. Turbo joined him at the swing set, by the bathtub, and even at the dinner table. At least he keeps his cute little elbows off the table, Eugene's mom said, pointing to Turbo. Eugene even shared his secret with his new friend. Turbo, Eugene whispered, I know I can trust you with a secret, mostly because no one understands hamster, and I want you to feel safe here because underneath these matching clothes, I'm really Captain Awesome. Turbo unleashed a tiny squeak, and Eugene smiled. A hamster squeak was as good as a handshake, and he knew his secret would be safe. But Sunday morning brought trouble. There's Eugene waking up. Eugene slept late, sleeping sounder than Super Dude's sidekick, Sergeant Super Bear, during his winter hibernation in deep space. When Eugene finally woke up, he reached over to Turbo's cage on the nightstand. Good morning, Turbo, Eugene said happily. Let's see what Mom made for breakfast. Will it be pancakes of power or titanium French toast? But Turbo didn't squeak an answer. He was gone! Turbo! Eugene yelled. Where are you? Eugene jumped to his feet and pounded his fist into his palm. This has to be the work of the most super villains ever. Which one could it be? Eugene thought for a minute. Superheroes have a lot of enemies, but who would hamster napped his friend? Turbo. And more importantly, how could Eugene face Miss Beasley and the rest of the class if they knew that Turbo was missing? Blah, blah, blah. Told you so, told you so, told you so, yakety yak, yak. You could already hear Meredith teasing. For the sake of Turbo and the fear of Meredith's he had to find Turbo before it was too late. Then Eugene heard giggling. It was the girly little giggle and baby babble that could only come from his dreaded enemy. Queen Stinky Pants had returned. The giggling came from behind the door at the end of the hall. Eugene wondered what Queen Stinky Pants was up to, and then it hit him. Queen Stinky Pants can speak hamster! Unable to enter Captain Awesome's awesome headquarters, Queen Stinky Pants hoped that Captain Awesome's new friend Turbo would reveal all of Captain Awesome's awesome secrets. Eugene raced back to his room to get his super awesome Captain Awesome outfit. Super Dude would never leave his outfit in a pile on the floor of his bedroom. That's because superheroes are supposed to keep their bedrooms clean, especially if they still live with their parents. Eugene ran quickly to his closet and changed into his Captain Awesome outfit. Mighty! He shouted and ran smack into the door, bounced off, crashed into the bed, and fell to the floor. Oops! Ugh. I forgot about the door. Captain Awesome opened the door, ran down the hallway, and grabbed the doorway to Queen Stinky Pants' cosmic stink ship. He could smell the familiar stinky stink of stinky stuff. Isn't it even ever bath time for supervillains? Captain Awesome wondered. He pinched his nose and threw open the door. Get your diapery hands off that hamster, Captain Awesome warned. Gabwa mamu moo, Queen Stinky Pants answered, and then Captain Awesome saw the most horrible thing possible, except for the time Jill Finbender tried to kiss him in first grade. Turbo sat at a tiny table with Queen Stinky Pants. He wore a mind-control baby bonnet and was about to be served a cup of tea. Ah! Don't drink that tea, Turbo! Captain Awesome shouted. It's got extra sugar in it so you can't taste the evil. Chapter 7. One boy minus one hamster equals bad news. Eugene was tired of thinking about how many apples he'd have if he started with 4, then added 12, and divided everything by 4. Who wants that many apples? Superheroes don't need math, Eugene thought. That's why they punch things. Superheroes need to be outside so they can swing and climb on stuff. The bell rang. Everyone ran for the door like they were chasing after free chocolate. Eugene waited for the classroom to empty and then headed over to Turbo's cage. Today's a very special day, Eugene whispered. I want you to be Captain Awesome's official sidekick. We'll call you Turbo, the heroic hamster, and you can use your super gnawing power too. Panic filled Eugene's heart and backed up in his throat. Turbo was gone! Ah! Eugene yelled. Not again! Excuse me. Who would have done such a thing? Did Queen Stinky Pants follow him to school? Impossible! Her feet don't even reach the pedals on her terror tricycle. And he couldn't smell any of her stinkiness in the air. This had to be the work of some new super menace. Eugene spotted a trail of cage shavings leading to the back of the room. Good boy, Turbo, Eugene thought, leaving a trail so I can find you. See, there's his cage, there's the trail. What a smart little sidekick. The shavings led to the cubbies where the class kept their backpacks. The trail stopped at a pink backpack. There you are, Miss Beasley called out. We're all outside for recess, Eugene. But it's just, Eugene stammered. Go get some fresh air, sunshine, and monkey bars, kiddo. Eugene sighed and trudged into the hallway. Super Dude would never leave a man behind enemy lines. Sure, Turbo was a hamster, but Super Dude would never leave a hamster behind either, even to go play on the monkey bars. Neither would Eugene. Hold on, little guy, Eugene whispered, even though Turbo couldn't hear him. I'll be back for you. I promise. Chapter 8. Captain Awesome hatches an awesome plan. Whatever kind of would he hatch? Kids screamed. They kicked balls, played games, and ran around like pretend airplanes in an imaginary sky. Except for Eugene. He sat cross-legged near the tetherball courts. He had failed in his first mission for Miss Beasley. Who would ever trust him with a small caged animal again? Not even the cafeteria's mystery meatloaf surprise made him feel this sick. Then Meredith Mooney stuck her tongue out at him. He didn't feel like much of a hero now. Hey there, Eugenio! Eugene! Eugene was so lost in thought that he barely heard Charlie. You look like your sister spilled gravy on your favorite issue of Super Dude. Worse, Charlie. Much worse. Turbo's been hamster napped. What? Charlie gasped. And I think little Miss Meredith did it. No! Charlie gasped even louder. Eugene stopped talking so Charlie could catch his breath. We can't let her get away with it, Charlie exclaimed. The fans of Super Dude Society won't stand for it. The fans of Super Dude Society. I thought we needed a name for our club, Charlie said. We have a club, Eugene asked. Sure, it's for the fans of Super Dude Society. We friends gotta stick together. Eugene smiled. Not because he was in a club called Awesomely Enough, the fans of Super Dude Society, or FZZ for short, but because Charlie had referred to him as a friend. Mighty! Eugene stood up, suddenly filled with awesomeness once more, and was smacked on the head by a tetherball. Ow! Sorry, Ryan Fitzpatrick said. Eugene had a plan. Never sit next to the tetherball court again. Okay, Eugene had 2 plans, and the other was as cool as a super dude plan. But I'm going to need your help after recess, he said to Charlie. Anything for a fellow member of the FZDZ, Charlie replied. Fans of Super Dude Society. And tomorrow we'll find out what that plan is. And are they going to get Turbo back? Was it Meredith? We will find out tomorrow for the next part of Captain Awesome to the Rescue. Have a great day.